Santa Muerte. You give aid, you give comfort to the unfortunate poor. You are there as well for the wealthy. You give hope to the sick, you heal the infirm, as sure as you strengthen the healthy. Senores with means, senoritas from the barrio, all gather each month in prayer. We offer our rosary. We make supplication that you lead us from our despair. Who are you, Senora? Are you truly a saint? Why does the church condemn you? The bishops abhor you. The deacons deplore you. Why then do so many condemn you? You are righteous to all, as pure as a priest. But there are so many who think it odd that a woman might stand so low in the church, but second only to God. I search through my humble botanica in vain. I cannot understand why you hide. I see when you come, you are clothed in darkness. I see you are dressed as a bride, a priestess of reapers, the keeper of justice, yet a patroness of thieves and thugs. Why do you hesitate to clear our streets of narcos, the cartels, the drugs? You are help for the helpless, love for the loveless. But what are you to the criminal? Though they pray as well for your watchful eye, we pray for your assistance is minimal. You promise us justice and rule of law with your lighting candle of green. May the seeds of your justice grow us a land that is lush and safe and serene. You promise us vengeance, cold retribution with your flickering candle of black. May those you dispose remain in repose. May the vanquished never come back. Though your eyes may not see the depth of our plight, you are not so uncaring and blind. Oh, wield your great and terrible power. Clean this land with your scythe. And when you untangle our terrible burden and remove these manacles of strife, may you add a few grains of sand of time to the hourglass of my life. O Santa Muerte, at my last grain of sand, I ask of you solely that my end may come imbued with peace, my death untainted and holy. The previous poem was a submission that was posted on Skeleton Saint by Asa Blinch. Welcome back to our little podcast where we talk about the occult, the supernatural, and underrepresented saints, spirits, and deities.
So if anybody has seen my IG page, you'll know that I worship Santa Muerte, and I am very excited to talk about this. Eva, do you know about Santa Muerte at all besides of me?
I know a little bit. I understand her as somebody who's more accepting. I know that the Pope has issues with her.
Yeah, I know you've been in my life through my journey getting to know her. I know that there's been plenty of times I talked your ear off, and now I get to talk our fans' ears off about it. She's considered to be revered as a saint and for some a deity, known as the Holy Mother of Death, La Flaca, and other honorable names. she is a part of Mexican folk Catholicism. And with that, the Vatican acts like she's the J-Lo to the Mariah Carey. Hashtag I don't know her. So, in fact, on day one of Pope Francis's visit to Mexico back in 2016, he publicly denounced her due to her connection with narco culture. And yes, she is a part of that culture. However, she's much, much more than just that. While she's associated with them, she is also associated with other communities of marginalized people. A little bit about her history. Modern day representation of her dates back to the mid-20th century, supposedly with some early accounts dating back to the 40s in Mexico City. But depending on who you ask, it's said that contemporary worship started in Hidalgo, and that's home to Raul Jimenez, who, if you play FIFA or watch soccer, you know exactly who I'm talking about. Anyways, it was once like an esoteric religion until one day, famously, Enriqueta Romero, aka Doña Cueta, created a shrine in front of her home in honoring Santa Muerte. And it's not unheard of. Like, we know that in Mexican culture, honoring the dead is an integral part of our identity, and it's been so pre-Spanish invasion. Big part of Aztec culture, even to this day, has a custom around death. I knew who Santa Muerte was prior to danza, but as I became more enveloped in the community and in doing performances and ceremonies, I got more acquainted with Santa Muerte. That's how she was basically reintroduced to me. I had the honor of dancing at some of her places of worship in San Jose. And of course, my maestro would talk about, and my Nawa is a little bit rusty, Siwat, which is the skeletal queen of Mictlan. That is the underworld. So her historical roots are vast, and there's much more to her origin story, but we can get into that on another episode. I want to talk more about what communities she represents. Yeah, she represents narco culture, but she also represents those of us who are lost and are trying to keep afloat. She's the patron saint of us marginalized people who have to deal with death in a very raw and uncut way. And it's a reality that is at every choice that they make during the day. She's also the patron saint of the LGBTQ community in Mexico. Again, that's marginalized people. One of my first ceremonies was a performance, and it was at a ceremony for her hosted by these lovely people in San Jose. It was off of Santa Clara Street. The main priestess of that ceremony was a trans woman, and we had this beautiful conversation, and how she said that she felt Mama Muerte protecting her, because Mama Muerte stands up for the people who nobody else will stand up for. And being that Mexico is heavy with conservative ideals and Catholicism, and in some places different denominations of Christianity as well, it can be hard for people of the LGBTQ community to be able to live their lives and be free. And this is their patron saint because she looks out for us. She looks out for the underdogs, all the marginalized people. And I think that's a very beautiful thing. And they also made a point to tell me that Santa Muerte is the bony lady. She's a skeleton, and a skeleton truly has no gender, because at the end of the day, it's just bones. And I thought that was very beautiful what she told me, and it was a magical experience, and I was really honored to be a part of it. And as somebody who's been homeless and comes from a background full of colorful characters, I'm from the hood. Point blank, let's not sugarcoat it. I'm from the hood, and my family be crazy. I love them, but they're crazy. And there's a lot of obstacles that I had to face in my life. And I truly felt that there were so many times that death was knocking at my door. I was very acquainted with the concept of death at an early age because I do have a big family, and there's always like somebody dying and somebody being born. But, you know, and I also had a few near-death experiences growing up. It's one of those realities, and to kind of make it something that you're not afraid of, that you know means more than just end of life. It also means new beginnings, and it's very healing. And I'm really, really glad to be sharing this with you and our listeners.
Mm-hmm. And to a degree of the world. I completely agree, because it makes sense that a community, a group of people, in terms of LGBTQ plus peoples, when you've been rejected by so many different groups, and even in terms of religion, you're turned away at their door. It's a very freeing thing. It's a very wonderful thing to have somebody with open arms saying, I accept you no matter who you are. Because for a lot of people, and you know, a large portion of homeless youth, especially for people that are LGBTQ plus, who were disowned and are homeless because of it, you need something to turn to. You need somebody in your life, or some entity that is willing to say, I will take you regardless. That's important. We don't have a lot of those. I know the U.S. in particular has terrible, terrible issues that they're still getting over and very slowly getting better at. And I know Mexico and also South America has their own specific particular issues as well.
Yeah, growing up culturally, you've seen like two sides of things, and I know that's the same for non-Latinx culture, but you either had it where people could freely be themselves or the latter. But I've seen a lot of homophobic and transphobic things within my culture that I do not agree with, obviously. I also think that that has a lot to do with religion. Like, not that I think, I know it has a lot to do with the high conservative Christianity and Catholicism that's in our culture. And one of the things that's very appealing about Santa Muerte is the fact that she's a woman, and she embodies empowerment in the fact that you can't escape death. And for her to like be this holy mother of compassion while also maintaining this respect and fear is very empowering. And the fact that I've been to several ceremonies for her and talked to some people that worship her, you know, everything that you find out about Santa Muerte, she's down to earth. Even in my own experiences with her, I felt this unconditional love and this beautiful embrace. And why I think it's awesome that she is for, you know, a lot of people are just like, okay, you can, you know, with Christianity, you know, Jesus will forgive your sins and everything like that. But I feel like with Mama Muerte, it's more of like, I will take your tears no matter who you are and what you've done. You know, I will love you. And I know some people will say that's just the same thing as Christianity or whatnot, but it's just something more empowering about her. And the fact that, yeah, she's a woman. I guess I've just hit the nail on the head too many fucking times. Sorry. But I also feel like growing up the way I grew up, seeing the things that I've seen, I definitely felt that it was always this burden on my back, that everybody was just gonna see me as the daughter of like gangbangers and drug addicts. But it's just like, I am much more than that, but that is part of who I am. But just because it's part of who I am doesn't mean that I'm not worthy of something. And that's another part of Mama Muerte's allure. It's almost as like we're the ones that she seeks out the most, instead of the reverse. Yeah, so I can go on and on about this. But we are running out of time. And my Pisces ass doesn't want to start fucking, like, I've been fighting off tears this whole episode, so I'm gonna It's just so fucking beautiful, like. Okay, sorry.
I appreciate you so much, Vanessa, for everything that you've done for this episode, and the input you can give is unique and honestly something that I think a lot of people need to hear.
Well, we shall continue this elsewhere. You do your little beggy, your little, like, get down on your knees. So, since Eva's recorder went out of battery, I will be doing the nightly goodbyes. Oh. No, but we love having you guys with us as we explore the spiritual, the unexplained, and the unknown. Thank you for tuning in. We'll get at you in 2 weeks. Till then, bye. And a special shout out to Ben Turco and Ruda Pillar. What up, Rudy Roo? And a special shout out for all y'all listeners. We couldn't do this without you. From the bottom of our hearts, we love you and keep it spoopy. Bye.